The recently introduced beat police are finding their first days on patrol hectic ones as they gather information from hundreds of people living near the murder scene on Scott Street.
This first couple of days we've spoken to about 200, 250 people. We haven't seen them all yet. Some of them, of course, working during the daytime, and we'll see them late, probably tomorrow evening.
The patrols will focus on residents of Newcastle East before extending inquiries west towards Hunter Street. Already they've established that 46-year-old mother of two, June Brislane, who also goes under her married name Mrs Bulmer, was very well known in this part of town. Speaking at a news conference this afternoon, Homicide Detective Lance Chaffee said there had been many sightings of the victim, but few could be verified.
They've been made by people who claim to have known the deceased, but the sightings unfortunately haven't been confirmed by other people.
Nevertheless, police have built up a clearer picture of her final hours. They now know with certainty that June Brislane was seen drinking and playing a poker machine alone at Tattersalls nightclub at about 12:30 or 1:45 on Friday morning. Police also exhibited the woman's handbag discovered on Newcastle Beach about 6 hours later. The bag contained a number of personal items, including a Commonwealth Bank keycard in the victim's name, which has not been recovered. They've confirmed that it was last used at the Commonwealth Auto Teller in the Hunter Mall on Thursday evening at about 5:15. A small sum of money was withdrawn. Detectives are pinning their inquiry on information from witnesses who may have seen Mrs Brislane on the night of the murder. Even crews from Navy vessels in town on that night have been contacted.
We know there's a New Zealand ship and a small Australian ship in port. They arrived on Friday and left yesterday. We did make inquiries there and obtain a list of crew who were on shore leave over the weekend.
Nearly 1,000 Hunter school children were treated to a preview of the show, which tonight aims to impress potential employers in the fashion industry. And the work of the 35 students certainly was impressive. A challenging Halloween theme stimulated some daringly different designs, teamed with imagination and a sense of humour. The students not only designed and made their clothes, but modelled them too. Tonight prizes will be awarded to the best creations. But the young audience had firm views on what they liked best, loudly applauding the many miniskirts and culottes that were a popular design choice for summer. And looking ahead to winter, a blaze of colour with a fine eye for detail. For the patriotic, the Australian Outback section followed a pattern of muted bush colours splashed with a landscape of original ideas.
The Aussie flag is flying high with the latest generation of the Flying Golans. Joe 11, Matthew 12 and John 14 are in rehearsal to follow their fathers who in the 60s performed at agricultural shows throughout Australia. Now the boys are taking up the reins with a series of dangerous tricks, including this special, the under the tummy. How do you feel filling in the shoes of your fathers?
Oh, you've got a bit of an act to follow. So
you've got to
keep it up.
Keep up the Golan tradition, I suppose.
The boys' first performance was at the recent Branxton Rodeo, and now they are preparing to appear throughout Australia, repeating the feats of their famous fathers Chris and Jock and grandfather Basil.
I'm very proud of the boys, and I'm also very thrilled about it. I think it's a great thing that they can carry on with this tradition, if you like.
The GEC Alston plant has completed the initial stage of its first commission, a major order to overhaul Liddell Power Station's number 1 unit turbine generator. Apprentices from the Hunter Valley Training Company are working in the project alongside world leaders in this high-tech industry.
Some of the work that we're doing, the non-destructive testing, is performed by very few companies worldwide. we have one of 8 people out here at the moment doing non-destructive testing. 8 people in the world looking at this rotor for us.
It took a 60-tonne crane to lift the huge rotor onto a low loader destined for Liddell Power Station. The 13-tonne rotor is now fit for another 15 years of service, saving a replacement cost of around $2 million. The power plant refurbishment program will continue with a major reblading of a turbine rotor and rewinding of a generator rotor.
The gruesome discovery of the body of pensioner George Woodcock was made by his sister at lunchtime today.
She found him in the bedroom. She thought it was a bundle of clothes in the corner, and then she found it was a brother. All the drawers in the house had been pulled out, and there was a lot of blood splashed around.
She had been alerted by the local postman, who noticed several days' mail had accumulated at the house in Klein Street.
She ran down here to us because the phone was disconnected. And we phoned the police and the doctor.
By early afternoon, the normally sleepy street was the scene of an extensive hunt for the murder weapon, believed to be an axe or machete.
Keep looking to your left and right. Look below you the whole way. It's going to get a bit rough. Don't go around any obstruction unless you have to. If you can go through it, go through it.
The Cessnock Rescue Squad was called in, together with police from Maitland, Curry and Cessnock. Tracker dogs were also used. Together, around 40 people formed a search line to scour the nearby creek. Homicide detectives from Newcastle later joined the search, including Detective Merv Hunter, who is also investigating the slaying of June Brislane in Newcastle last Saturday. As police interviewed shocked neighbours and hunted for clues, a picture of the murdered man began to emerge.
I believe he was a well-known local identity, and I also believe that he and his father in the past used to conduct magic performances in the Curry Western area.
He was a nice, quiet man, a good neighbour, never interfered with anybody.
Despite the large police presence, neighbours are still very scared.
Very upset to think we're not safe in our own homes. And there's a lot of elderly people live around here.
Lake Macquarie Mayor Ivan Welsh today asked for the support of all Hunter councils, and win that support he unanimously did.
I'm very happy about this. I think that the backing and the unanimous backing of the Hunter Regional Association of Councils means that we can now go to the Minister and say, listen to your councils associations, because that's what they're there for, and he's the Minister for local government. It's not just Lake Macquarie anymore, it's all the councils in the Hunter that are saying the same thing. They've made it blue, fix it.
He says if the amnesty is granted, 1981 valuations will be used to determine next year's rates, which could otherwise rise dramatically if based on the new and often grossly increased valuations. So important was the controversial rates debate that the Department of Local Government's representative, Fred Elliott, was asked to speak, but he was unsympathetic to the council's plight. But Ivan Welsh says the matter is so complex that there is just not enough time, and a delay in issuing the rates means lost money for the council.
Thousands of dollars. I don't know the exact figures, but thousands of dollars.
The meeting decided that 6 months at least was needed to work out rates once new valuations had been received, and voted to write to the Minister for Local Government seeking a 1-year reprieve from using the new figures.
The body of George Woodcock was discovered by his sister in his Klein Street home. The local postman had noticed uncollected mail in the letterbox and raised the alarm. Police say Woodcock lay slumped in the corner of his bedroom and had been struck in the face with a sharp object, possibly an axe or machete. The discovery has sent shockwaves through the residents of this normally quiet street.
Very upset to think we're not safe in our own homes.
A massive search operation was mounted late today by police. Homicide detectives from Newcastle arrived, along with tracker dogs, which were called in to search for the murder weapon. Police say there's no apparent motive for the brutal murder. Local police say Woodcock was a well-known but quiet local identity.
He and his father in the past used to conduct magic performances in the Curry Western area.
Police are now appealing to the public for help from anyone who may have seen Woodcock or known of his movements since the weekend. Police are warning elderly residents in the area not to allow strangers into their homes or keep large amounts of money on their premises. The older residents of Curry and Western are still coming to terms with the murder. They've watched the neighbourhood change over the past 30 years from a quiet but proud working class community to one where the elderly are fair game for hoodlums. George Woodcock's mates know only too well what it's like to be victims.
So you've been robbed 3 times?
I have. My word I have, yeah.
And your car stolen?
And I had my car stolen too.
They agree George's murder has heightened fears among the community's older residents.
Oh, I'd say so, yeah. Yeah, they got to be, haven't they?
The Western Bowling Club was one of George's favourite retreats. Today, the flag flies at half-mast.
He was the sort of bloke that, well, when he had a few beers, he got a little bit stroppy. Well, we all do that. That's something that we naturally do, but I couldn't imagine anybody that would want to do that sort of thing to him.
Those who knew George Woodcock say he didn't mind giving the impression that he had money, and he certainly didn't try to dispel a rumour going around town that he was about to receive a substantial court settlement from a damages claim. But the fact is that the final withdrawal he made from this auto bank on Friday was for less than $40. Police have confirmed that George was last seen at the Curry Workers Club late on Tuesday afternoon. Detectives returned to the victim's Klein Street home today and for the first time revealed how the rooms had been ransacked by the killer. Evidence suggests George had eaten a small dinner and had later been hacked to death in his bedroom. There was no sign of forced entry. Police have asked relatives to inspect George's belongings, but so far they don't know what the killer was looking for or if anything was removed. In the meantime, they're advising elderly people living alone to either stay with friends or keep in close contact with neighbours. But that, say George's acquaintances, isn't as easy as it once was.
Oh, no, you don't know your next door neighbour. Not properly, yeah. Everyone used to mix one time, not now though.
Jet skis are hard not to notice. To some, they offer the exhilaration of surfing and motorsports combined.
Until you've actually ridden one, you can't appreciate it. It's like no other sport.
To others, they're an annoyance and a danger. Local MSB officers have been getting an increasing number of complaints.
Well, jet skis operating in and around swimmers and close to the shore and zooming in and out around moorings and boats and things like that.
An accident on Lake Macquarie last weekend highlighted the need for a closer look at controls. Jet skis at present are operated with normal boat drivers' licences and registration, but can operate freely from often crowded swimming beaches. They sell for about $6,000 and reach speeds of 60 kilometres an hour. Noise complaints are the most common, but Cole Stewart, who runs the region's only dealership, says manufacturers are working hard to minimise this. He also argues that the skis have more safety features than most other leisure craft. Most notably, they don't have dangerous propellers or exposed rudders. He says a rat bag element gives the skis a bad name.
There's always the abusers, and unfortunately jet skis aren't an exception.
We'll be coming down on those people to the point where we will be taking court action, and they can be fined up to $400.
Cole agrees.
Pleased to see the MSB are taking a stronger stand, because not only is it dangerous the way that this minority is handling their machines, it's also destroying the credibility of the serious rider and the jet ski club, who do things properly and get a lot of enjoyment out of the sport.
The stifling heat today did nothing to stop the pupils of Black Hill and Metford public schools having fun. 49 of Metford's 400 students visited Small Black Hill, a school of just 50 pupils, and they planned to camp there overnight in small tents pitched over Black Hill's grounds, the first experience in outdoor living for many of the children. The day was designed to give the Year 4 students from both areas a chance to mix with other children their own age.
Okay, and what do you think about this camp?
It's great. It's great. So far.
Do you find, is Black Hill very different to Metford School?
Yeah.
How's it different?
Well, there's a lot more children at Medford. It's smaller than Medford.
Which school are you kids from?
Medford.
And what do you think about Black Hill? Is it very different to Metford?
Yeah.
How's it different?
In number of ways, because you got the playground
It's
and
smaller.
and all that.
So what do you think about coming out here and camping overnight?
Excellent. If it was a couple of nights, it'd be good.
Do you think you can learn things out here?
Yeah. Oh, might.
Like what?
How to camp properly.
Activities such as ball sports and a variety show have been planned, while the students are instructed to do a little paperwork in the form of writing a diary.
Well, I've had pupils camping for years, and I find this opportunity to do lots of things that you can't do inside the classroom. It gives them an opportunity to mix, make new friends, to cooperate, to learn good hygiene, to eat good food, and all those things that you just can talk about, but you can't show them in a classroom situation.
The students from Metford enjoy making new friends at Black Hill, and vice versa, and the different attitudes the other children have in relation to nature and the environment become apparent.
What differences did you notice when you came here to Black Hill?
Well, the classrooms are a lot smaller and there's a lot more room at Metford. And we don't have lunch at tables under the shade, we have it in our classrooms. And we don't have climbing frames and things like that at our school.
All right, Rodney, what do you think about having the kids from Metford here to visit?
It's good fun because you get to meet new people.
It was a great experience for all the children, and the few teachers involved were all pleased with the way in which the camp was a success.
Well, having been in a small school prior, I can appreciate pupils in a small school don't always get the opportunity to mix with many other pupils their own age. So this gives them the opportunity to mix with other children from other schools who have more opportunity because there's more pupils in that school, in the bigger schools.
See, here, look at it, it's congealed at the tracks there, and there's a big lump of it there. You can see any bats lying around like that,
The inquiry, chaired by Commissioners John Woodward and Kevin Cleland, will hear around 30 submissions on the implications of Tomago's expansion plans. Plant manager Barry Goldstiver put the company's case to the inquiry, pointing to Tomago's outstanding environmental achievements. Under the proposal, Tomago would build a third pot line and add to the existing 2 lines. Production would increase by 75%, with an accompanying 75% increase in emissions. The company says the expansion will mean 300 new jobs, a 1,500-strong construction workforce and a healthy boost to export earnings. The plant would employ model environmental standards and controls. It would be an example to aluminium smelters worldwide.
There is no evidence that the existing plant has caused real damage, and there is no evidence that the expanded plant will do so either.
That's not true. There are plenty of risks involved.
The Wallaroo Conservation Group is Tomago's fiercest opponent. Chairman Ben Tipping warns of an environmental time bomb if the plans go ahead. The Wallaroo Group predicts toxic fluoride fallout, dangerous levels of sulphur dioxide and solid toxic waste streams. There was concern too from the Hunter Region Botanic Gardens Board. The Commission heard that not enough is yet known about the effects of fluoride on all our native species. Chairman Kevin McDonald stressed that the future of the gardens is at least as important as the future of the smelter. But there was little opposition from the public sector. A string of government departments endorsed Tomago's plans. The only warning note came from the Agriculture and Fisheries Department, who pointed to circumstantial evidence linking this year's large-scale oyster deaths in the Hunter River to an outfall adjacent to the Tomago smelter. A fisheries officer lost the skin from his hand when he came in contact with a water sample. But Tomago replied with a staunch denial of responsibility, pointing to the fact that a number of industries share that outfall. The inquiry continues tomorrow with an inspection of the Tomago plant. The remaining submissions will be presented on Thursday and Friday. The future of Tomago's expansion plans then rests with the Commission. Leslie Robinson, NBN News.
The award because he's the bloke who puts the award together. That is one thing. Now, as Jeff Ram from the Northern District said, we have not got...
At the feeder, lump coal is reduced in...
The debate has been sparked by government plans to make both Shoal Bay and Nelson Bay schools separate primary institutions. At present, infants attend Nelson Bay before moving to Shoal for their primary schooling. It was only 3 weeks ago concerned parents voiced their protests on NBN News.
Quite a few parents are not in favour of it. It's just not a common sense move. It's disgusting.
At the time, the Department of Education branded them a vocal minority, but now they've hit back. The Concerned Parents Committee has released details of a survey which shows of the 159 families interviewed, 86% were against the idea of splitting the schools. The committee claims these families represent 236 pupils, almost half the combined student population of both schools. But the department remains unconvinced, claiming the survey was biased.
People have said to me that they have watched the survey go past them. They have not been approached to complete the survey, and that undoubtedly was because that their opinion was known to the surveyors.
The chances of the government reversing its decision seem minuscule.
It would be very difficult to change the decision now, and it would create a great deal of community hurt to reverse the decision now.